As part of your customer care membership with Red Wing software, you have access to all updates to your CenterPoint program for free. To check to see if there are new updates manually within CenterPoint, you need to have an internet connection and then go to Help, Online Support Services, and check for CenterPoint updates. Any new updates that are available will be shown in the box here in the middle. If you have other modules installed and they also have updates, those updates would also be listed. To install the updates, you would simply click the Install Updates and it would go through the process of installing the updates. I'm going to go ahead and click Close. You could have the system automatically check for updates by going ahead and setting a preference to do that. As a matter of fact, that is usually our default preference. To check what your preference settings are, you can go to File and Preferences, and then go to General. And down here in General, if I scroll down, there is an option for Online Update Settings. The Application tab is the only tab available on this preference setting, which means that it's a setting that is set on each computer individually or each person's login if you happen to be in a cloud environment. The default setting, if you look here in the middle here where it says Online Update Method, the default setting on CenterPoint is to check for updates automatically. And if you happen to not normally have this computer connected to the internet, you only connect it to the internet infrequently, or you want to manually control when those updates are downloaded, you could change that setting to manually handle online updates. Okay. The default setting is to check for those updates on the internet. So the system would need to be connected to the internet and go ahead and check for those updates. Okay, the other option is on a network. If you are controlling when those updates are downloaded, you may manually download them to a shared location and have the other machines check to see if there is an update from a locally shared location. So if you have an IT administrator or something that is, trying to control when those updates are actually downloaded and installed, they may go ahead and do it manually and then put it in a locally shared location. If you're choosing a locally shared location, you could go ahead and select that circle, and then down here at the bottom, you would click the Select Path button to go ahead and browse for a location to go ahead and look for those updates on. You want to make sure that that is a path that is accessible to all of your users. I'm going to leave mine back at Internet. By default, the setting here under Preferences is set to go ahead and run those updates at application startup. So as you're starting up CenterPoint, it will go ahead and run those updates. Or you could actually have it download the update and wait until you actually close the application to install the updates. So either one of those settings. And CenterPoint is the last box down here. CenterPoint is also going ahead and checking for those updates by default here, by this default setting, each time you start up CenterPoint. And you usually don't notice that it's happening because it's a very quick process. However, if you wanted to, you could change the frequency in which it looks for updates by doing it only once daily or once weekly or once monthly. So you can change it to look for it at a different frequency. When you're done, you're going to go ahead and save your settings. Just to reiterate further though, the first process that I showed you by going to Help and then Online Support Services and check for CenterPoint updates is the process that you would need to go through if you set that preference to manually handle online updates. Otherwise, you shouldn't need to have to go here because the system will be checking for updates automatically.